This is a generation that love to consult prophets, prophetess, especially we that says we are gospelers, and we have forgotten that we had only two prophets, yourself and Jesus. I'm sorry if there are prophets and prophetess in the house. I don't know how many of them will make heaven, because they destroyed the gospel, not in a small measure. They tell people what is not. They tell people what God does not say. And they make people to become Satan. We see them. We see them. If not because of Christ, I nearly divorced my wife because of what prophets said, that my wife will never bear children for me. I said, thank you, sir. He came back to me to tell me that God told me that you don't believe what I was saying. I said, I believe you. So he said, now let me give you a sign. Before you approach the city or the village or the town of your wife, there is a big river with big stones. So that is where they normally have their meeting. And all the children that my wife supposed to have for me, she has pledged them to those evil people. I say, thank you, sir. When I got home from a mountain, because I was seeking the face of God for the fruit of the womb, and I called my wife. I said, how are you? The other time we went to your town, there was a river before we enter your town. Please, what is the name of that river? My wife started looking at me and said, the river? I said, yes. The river that had big stones. And because the mother was with us, she went and called our mother, and our mother came. He said, Mama, tell my husband, what is the name of the river that we will approach before we approach our town? Mama said there is no river. There is no river? I never told my wife until God began to open our womb, and we had our children until we said Ebenezer. Can you imagine a prophet that people were, I cannot mention his name. If I mention his name, everybody here will know him. And when he saw me later, he said, what about that your wife? I said, she's fine. The woman is still with you? I said, yes. She wants to finish you. She cannot have children. I said, we thank God we had our first child so and so time. He said, no. With that same woman, I said, by the grace of God. But that time, the man had become blind. Can you imagine what the prophetess and prophets